way when I was still with you. Yes, of course I miss you and I miss you bad. But I also felt this way when I was still with you. This city's no longer mine. There's sadness written on every corner. Each lover was made to sign. Now I hear them calling me over and over.
Get up, stand up, get up, stand up, get on it. Yes, I'm no longer who you thought this one would be. Behind up here on the mountain that I climbed to lose you. I said every bit of business that business could work through. I said, ask me, but all my wisdom departed. Tell me, but all my wisdom departed. But oh, please at least answer me this. Answer me, what's the business? Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away from a distance. Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away. I'm a victim. Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away. I'm addicted. Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away. If you just press the other fingers down under my skin.
Is it dead tonight?
I said, ooh, if you ask me, if you ask me, that's when it's what's the business? Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away from a distance. Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away. I'm addicted. Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away. I'm addicted. Yeah, don't take my life away, don't take my life away. I'm addicted. Yeah, from a distance. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Hacking Arts 2018.
Woo!
Woo!
All right, we'll give you that it's like a little after 9 in the morning, and that's okay, but we'll try one more time now that we have everybody's attention. Welcome, everybody, to Hacking Arts 2018.
Woo!
I love it. Awesome. I'm Nick. I'm one of the co-directors.
I'm Kavya.
We're really excited to be back here again.
Woohoo!
This year, Hacking Arts is one of the most robust festivals that we have had in our 6-year history. We have changed up things a little bit. You'll notice that the hacking is happening at the same time as all of our other programming. That's because this year's theme is focused on the future of co-creation. This year, we're treating everyone, whether you're a festival goer or a participant in the hackathon, as a hacker of some kind. We are all working together to hack this central question of what is the future we are facing as technologies make co-creation more possible for all of us across creative platforms, across entrepreneurship and business sectors. What new things are we going to discover? And whether you're attending a performance, a panel session, or a hackathon, or you're doing all of those things, we hope that you'll find a new and exciting way to engage with that question.
And since we're at MIT, we want to leverage all the technologies we have access to. So we're not only going to be providing the conference experience to all of you physically here, but through HowlRound, we're going to be live streaming all the content happening at the festival. And so we'll be reaching out to over 2,500 people through the panels, the Arts and Tech Expo, Hackathon, and the performances happening here at the Media Lab, as well as the building adjacent to us at the List Visual Arts Center.
There are 22 schools who are represented here today as part of the hackathon and as participants in the festival. Woot woot if you see your school up there. Woo!
Woo!
Coming from a lot of local areas, but as well far away from Toronto and Waterloo, which I think is super cool as an ABBA fan. And so we're really excited that all of you took the journey to get here today.
And we have 7 amazing discussions lined up for you across panels, fireside chats, and solo speaker sessions representing entrepreneurship and legacy art institutions like Juilliard and the Lincoln Arts Center.
And for the first time ever, we're actually going to be including a new style of programming. We have talks and we have workshops, which is brand new for Hacking Arts, from our partners and sponsors, including Velodyne, Wayfair, Google Cloud, and then a couple of creative ones by Ictus 360 Audio and Sydney Skybetter as well.
We have startup demos and pitches lined up for you at the List Center, exploring within the intersection of arts and technology. We have startups at an early age, as well as those that have now turned into global movements like So Far Sounds.
And alongside all of these entrepreneurs and startup businesses are going to be some really exciting artists who come from the area as well as far away as from Brazil. And we can't wait for them to share their work with you over at the List Center, which is the adjacent building. That's where our Arts and Tech Expo is happening, and that's also where a number of our other programming sessions will be. We also have the most robust performance lineup that we have had in Hacking Arts history. Over 11 performers for you to enjoy this weekend, both on this stage and in the Bartos Theater next door. You can check your agenda to see when people are playing. You can also check it on the array display out in the lobby. These performers not only make up an exciting future intersection of arts and technology, but they also just represent some of the best in their craft. So we're hoping that today you'll get inspired by today and tomorrow, that you'll get inspired by performances from people who are fusing arts and technology and by people who are just excelling as wonderful creative artists.
And in the spirit of co-creation, we'll have the first ever unconference in Hacking Arts history. So all of y'all here are co-creators at the festival, and we want to give you the opportunity to curate your own discussion, performance, or whatever else you'd want to perform or represent within the intersection of arts and technology. We'll be sharing logistics on all the array panels across both venues, so make sure you check that out to see how you can sign up. And tomorrow you could present.
Yeah, if you see something that's missing in our programming, let us know by getting up on stage and telling us all about it.
And please feel free to interact with all of your fellow participants and hackers. Get them involved, start a group, and create something special tomorrow.
We want to give a big shout out and thank you to all of the sponsors and partners who make this happen. From our major sponsors, Wayfair, MIT, and the Martin Trust Center, to in-kind sponsors who are giving us prizes and equipment for the hackathon to our folks who are providing you delicious breakfast and lunch at Clover. Also, a big thank you to our advisory board. We're very pleased that our Hacking Arts co-founders are with us today. I won't embarrass them by pointing them out, but I will just sort of nod at them fervently in the background. Without all of these people, Hacking Arts would not be possible. They truly helped to carry this along and grow it in its 6-year history. And a huge thank you, cannot say this enough, to our team who makes Hacking Arts possible. This is an all-volunteer team of 20-plus people who work tirelessly for 10 months to make all of the amazing programming and experiences that you're about to witness this weekend possible. And we would not be able to do this without their efforts and time. And I know that they're so excited to share all of that with you this weekend as well. And if you'd like to become part of our team, we have actually launched applications for Hacking Arts 2018 leadership team. They're live right now. So if you like what you experience over this weekend and you think, I would love to maybe be involved in planning a session next year or be involved in taking a leadership role in the hackathon, you can do that. That's actually how I got started. That's how Kavya got started. And we're very excited to be welcoming in a new team. So check out applications for sure.
A couple of logistical things. If you guys have noticed your name cards, there's a QR code at the back. You can scan that at any time to view the agenda at the festival. Like I said, we're at MIT, so we like to do all these cool things. Please use hashtag HackingArts2018. Record your experiences, put it on social media, use our hashtag. And before taking any more of your time, we'll kickstart. Malika, who's our programming co-chair, will introduce our very special keynote speaker.
Really quickly, actually, though, before we bring up Malika, just in the spirit of the future of co-creation, I did just want to make a quick acknowledgement, and I'm going to read it so that I don't screw it up. But Cambridge has always been a gathering place for many Indigenous peoples. When looking towards the future, the Hacking Arts team pays respects to all of their ancestors, and both past and present. And we acknowledge that our festival is situated here in Cambridge, traditional lands of the Wampanoag, and we respect that many Indigenous people continue to live and work in the city and acknowledge their ongoing contributions to this area. And now that we've done that bit of housekeeping, we're very excited to bring up Malika to introduce our keynote speaker.
It's such a pleasure to make it to Boston, and I have to start by introducing Ed by telling you a little story about how I met him. I met Ed last week. We were sitting at Juilliard, and he offered to give my boyfriend and I a ride up to Boston yesterday. So we got on his car, and we were on our way, and guess what? We ran out of gas on the highway on I-90 yesterday. So I really got to know Ed very well. So here we go. So Ed began his career in arts education at the Lincoln Center Institute in 1978 and eventually joined the Juilliard School in 1984, developing many of the institution's most innovative programs. Ed is a composer, artistic director, arts educator, and the founding director of the Center of Innovation in the Arts at Juilliard. We are thrilled to have Ed here, and he's going to be around Hacking Arts for the entire weekend, so find him, say hello. One thing I can tell you, very engaging conversations. You might get stuck on the road with him, but you're going to have fun. Ed, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Malika and Kavya and Nick and Catherine and Kathleen and William and everyone else at Hacking Arts for inviting me up today. It's such a great honor to be here at MIT, and I'm really so excited to be participating in this wonderful organization, and I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible over the next couple of days. Today, I'd like to share some of the work that we do at the Center for Innovation of the Arts at the Juilliard School, and specifically with a focus on new ways of creating, collaborating, and performing. But I'd like to begin by telling you about an experience I had when I was a student at the Museum of Natural History, observing an exhibition on Ice Age art. It had a great impact on me and inspired me for many years, and still in some ways impacts what I do in education. So I'm holding now one of the most inspiring objects I've ever seen. It's a replica of the oldest musical instrument known to man. It's a flute carved from the bone of a bird over 43,000 years ago. So it was found in a cave in southwest Germany, probably left there by the last musician who played it. And when I first learned about this instrument, I was really stunned, not just because of its existence, but by what it represents. I mean, just think about it. In that primitive time, life and death hung in the balance every day. And despite those challenges, our ancient ancestors found it necessary and important to dedicate the time to make music and art. And so we have to ask ourselves, what did that Ice Age flutist need to express that would require him to dedicate the time to make music? I mean, perhaps he was inspired by the song of a bird and wanted to see if he could create something as beautiful. But in order to do so, he first had to design an instrument with the holes perfectly proportioned to produce the tones of a musical scale. And by the way, the pitches that come out of this are pretty similar to what we'd find on a contemporary pentatonic scale that a modern flute would use. And this is really similar to lots of instruments that are played around the world today. Our ancient flute player then needed to master a wide range of skills to be able to compose and perform. The listening skills, attentiveness, concentration, the physical coordination and breath control, the interpersonal skills to practice and perform, and the commitment to self-improvement. So they must have had placed great value on music making in those days. And it's interesting now that in the study of philosophy, the study of aesthetics, which includes art and music, really comes under the larger heading of the study of values. So now, 43,000 years later, somehow art making is still a representative of, represents who we are as humans and what we value most. So why did our ancient ancestors spend so much of their precious time producing music? Well, I think it's because music and the arts represent the many diverse experiences of life coming together in one symbolic form. Music is a manifestation of the interplay between the cycles of life, the energies of our body, the laws of nature, and it's a bridge between heart and mind, logic, emotion, passion, and rationality. Indeed, the arts are a kind of metaphor for the wondrous complexity of the human experience and the miracle of life. There's no known culture in history that did not have music or arts. So today, AI researchers know that creating and performing music is one of the best models for learning that we have. It's a very, very complex process that they're using to do various kinds of learning modeling. For example, our contemporary flutist, somebody that maybe, say, a student at Juilliard today, would need to be able to read a complex symbol system on a page and understand the mathematical relationships and the intervals and the rhythms and the collective harmonies that result. They'd have to be able to translate that information into very, very refined motor skills. They would need the interpersonal skills to communicate with other musicians and to take the lead, know when to follow and lead, and also the emotional intelligence to be able to give meaning and expression to a performance. But what's so remarkable about all this is that this complex conversion of information can be shared with an audience through performance. So I think this is one of the reasons why music and the arts are so powerful and have such powerful experiences, because they speak to us on so many levels. When we listen to music, our brains are busy sorting through mathematical relationships and emotional and psychological qualities. At the same time, our bodies are responding to rhythm. Our breath is shaped by melody. So to me, what this really represents is that music and the arts are a kind of meta experience that tap into the most ancient part of our consciousness, but also engage our most evolved intelligences. I think no one understood this idea better than Einstein. Musicians love to quote Einstein. When he was asked how he imagined the theory of relativity, he said, quote, "It occurred to me by intuition and music was the driving force behind that intuition. My discovery was the result of a musical perception. So I think what he really meant by that was that in order to grasp the vastness of the topic that he was wrestling with, he had to engage the full range of his intelligence and capabilities, and that music to him was a kind of metaphor for what that meant, to think with the whole mind. And it's interesting to note that Einstein's favorite hobby was playing the violin, and he greatly admired Mozart, and Mozart's favorite hobby was mathematics. So this richness and complexity of experience it inspires our work at the Center for Innovation in the Arts, and we always try to bring some of that cross-disciplinary complexity into our productions. The mission of the Center for Innovation in the Arts is to nurture collaborations between artists, technologists, and designers across disciplines, explore new ways of creating, collaborating, and performing with technology, and to develop and present new works that stretch the boundaries of traditional artistic and aesthetic experiences. So some of the things that we've explored are using music and tools as an extension of the human body to provide very nuanced and expressive ways, live interaction between machines and software, the ability to personalize narratives and aesthetic experiences in real time, audience and community-driven experiences, creative partnerships and interaction between artists and designers across the globe, expanding the definition of what an artistic discipline is and what an artistic action and experience might be. And finally, we hope in the future we're starting to explore work in AR and VR and mixed reality to provide opportunities for new kinds of communities and interactions. So I'd like to just take a minute and show you slides of a few projects we've done over the past few years and tell you a little bit about how they were put together and created and what the performance was like. This was really a beautiful piece. It's actually a contemporary setting of a work by Terry Riley called In C. This was the 50th anniversary of the composition of the work, which was in 1964. In C is often referred to as the first minimalist piece of music. It's not quite, but almost. And it is just a musical composition. So we did a multimedia setting of that work. The musical composition is based on a collection of 52 cells of music that a musical ensemble of indeterminate size plays through independently. So they're all given a pulse that they play together, but when they enter, how many times they repeat a cell, and how long they stay in any one cell is left up to the ensemble. They just have to eventually go from cell 1 to cell 52, and that can take 30 minutes or it could take several hours. So it's really kind of a hive experience or community experience rather than that kind of tightly synchronized experience you might see in traditional music. So we invited a Juilliard choreographer to choreograph 52 silos of video content, and then we built 52 projection panels in the black box theater. So we loaded the video content into our system, did the video mapping on the panels, and then we trained a student from theater and dance to be able to control not only the launching of the images from the biggest slide, or the biggest panel, which is slide 1, and consecutively down to the smallest, which is 52, through some gaming tools. And the musical score, the elements, are printed on the top for the audience to follow along. So here's the previous musical cell, here's the one everyone's playing, and here's the one that's coming up. And bit by bit, they just kind of roll by until we go through all 52 of them. It was a beautiful work to witness. We also built some touch-sensitive panels for the artist to step on. So this is a little bit like organ technology. If any of you have ever played a pedal organ in a church, you'll know that your feet are as busy as your hands. So each one of these blocks triggers a whole new set of processing that our video design artists can trigger. And then here was our 18-member ensemble. This was a opera that we just performed 2 years ago, premiered. It was called Cracked Orlando, and it's a work that is the structure of the work is based on fractals by Jonathan Daw. So not only do the musical phrases and the musical architecture of the piece come from fractals, but even our scenic design represents a fractal design that extends sort of out of the theater and down into much smaller scenic elements. So there's a mathematical thinking and underpinning to this operatic theatrical work. And in this work, we also created an avatar here. Whoop, I went the wrong way. Let's see, backwards. There we go. We created a avatar. Ooh, sorry, I'm using the wrong button. And this avatar is controlled by a media performance artist here. And she takes shape in various places on the fractalized screens. Now, there was a real person here in another part of the building. We had a video camera on her, so she was performing live, and her voice was coming through an array of speakers throughout the hall. So her motions and gestures were happening live, but we did video mapping on her and some motion capture technology to project the image in the hall, and then this lady here was processing the images live. So she would appear as a kind of ghost-like character and disappear and take various forms. And she'd interact with the performers on stage. It was really quite a wonderful piece to watch. This is an ensemble of young performers at Juilliard, percussionist, computer performer, electric guitar player, and a DJ turntable artist. And we had built these interactive stations for them to put their technology on and several screens in the place. And it was a piece that they made called Trust Me, in which all of the content was derived from political speeches from the 1950s to the present. This was performed before the recent election, so I think it would have had a whole new meaning if we produced it this past year. But it was really quite beautiful to watch, and everything was interactive, and they were controlling all the media and sounds during the performance. And if you see the next slide, you can see how much variety in the appearance and look, and as well as sounds that we had from movement to movement. This was a fun piece developed with some data analytics tool. It was an analysis program called TextArc. And what we did was got to make sure I get the right button again. We input the entire text of Alice in Wonderland, which was being written over the course of the performance around the edge of this oval. And you could see the text also coming up here as if it were in a novel, say, or an iBook. And the more frequently a word appears, the larger it is somewhere in this oval. And then it also, this is sort of the chronological depiction of the novel as we go around from the beginning to the end. And so every time the word does appear, we also see links to it and where in the course of the event or where in the course of the performance we see it. And so it was a really kind of interesting way for us to see the unfolding of the text, to sort of visualize it. And by the way, this is just a screenshot of the projection design. We did have music and actors who were dramatizing the story throughout the performance. I'll try to focus on the mic a little more. That's another example of a screenshot from the same performance. These next two pieces were a part of a festival we did as a John Cage Centennial. And so this is an installation version of constructions in metal for percussion quartet. And we had three groups of percussionists, or three percussion quartets that were collaborating on this. There was, there we go, one from Tokyo, and here they are again, and they were interchanged with a quartet in London, and some performers at Juilliard on stage in our theater. And so we cut back and forth between these various artists who were playing to a click and created a kind of video mashup of the audio and the video in the performance. And it was really quite interesting to see this kind of global performance. The idea of collaborating globally is something that really interests us a lot. And another piece by John Cage that was a great deal of fun to produce. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the piece Radio Music. It was written in 1957, and it was originally written for 7 performers on stage with 7 radios. And so at the beginning of the piece, the performers would come on stage, open up their musical scores, turn on a radio, and each performer had their radio dialed to a different station. And as they're watching the score with a stopwatch, over a certain period of time, they'd have to turn to another station. And so the resulting piece was this kind of cacophony of content that was being broadcast from radios. But of course, the content of the sound would change every day because you couldn't guarantee what the programming was, and of course, geographically, where you were. So we did a multimedia setting of this piece with web radios, and we invited artists from around the world. Oh, I'll learn this eventually. It's amazing I'm the director of the Center for Innovation in the Arts. I don't know how to use a pointer. Here we go. But we had somebody from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and the Bronx, and NYU Abu Dhabi, and somebody here in Munich, Germany, and somebody else was from Warsaw. So we had really people, somebody from India, and they were all dialing in and tuning up whatever was being broadcast locally on their stations that day. And then we did a 8-channel audio mix in the Wilson Theater at Juilliard. And a work that we're exploring with now, it's the idea of working in kind of collaborating in virtual environments. So we have a dancer and choreographer in our theater working with another dancer someplace else, and we're just creating this kind of very interesting architectural outline of the space that the other artist is in. So we have these 2 cubes of performance areas that they're both collaborating in. And lastly, I think this is the last one, it's a show that originated at our work at the Center for Innovation in the Arts. It's called Bass Track. And the core of the work, it's kind of derived theater, in which I went to the Google Gallery in New York in 2012 and saw an exhibition of this photographer who had spent a few years embedded with the Marines in Afghanistan. And he had this incredible array of photos that were just so moving. And he tried to get them published with all the major periodicals in the United States and was turned down by all of them. And the reason he had heard more often than not was that, that it's not going to sell issues, no one's really interested in this, it's kind of a downer, it's been going on for years already, et cetera, the usual stuff. So he created a blog called Bass Track and posted the photos and invited the families of the Marines in the U.S. to communicate with their brothers and sisters and loved ones, fathers, daughters, sons in Afghanistan. And within a couple of months, the blog had over 5 million hits. And these photos and texts then were really inspiring. We took that material and turned it into a multimedia event with an actual Marine who had artistic training or dramatic training, who was one of our prime actors. Yeah, here he is there, and there again. And we juxtaposed images, and there was an electronic ensemble here, including a lot of computer controllers that would process the images live and include recordings of the Marines. This piece has now been touring the United States in its 4th year, and it was hailed by the New York Times as one of the top 10 theatrical events of 2014. So we're very proud of that work. And these are just some of the images that came from the project. Yeah, and so that's it for the presentation about what we do at the Center for Innovation in the Arts. I think if we have a few minutes, I'd be happy to take any questions from you. If not, then I'll be around through tomorrow evening and be happy to connect with any of you personally. I think I'm serving as a mentor here as well, so I'm sure I'll be meeting many of you as well. Are there any questions, perhaps? Yes, sir.
What about interactive art in today?
You mean as in fine arts?
Interactive art.
Yes, well, most of the works that I presented here have some form of live interaction. So, but the Juilliard School is a school of the performing arts. So our students are either in the drama division, the dance division, or the music division. So we don't have a division, say, of fine arts, of painting and sculpting, nor do we have media arts and filmmaking or animation or anything like that. So in the end of the day, everything we do sort of gets pulled back into the world of the performing arts, but we partner regularly with people in disciplines and art forms that aren't represented at Juilliard, and in each stage of the way, we try to involve interaction of some sort. Hope that answers the question. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Is there something fundamentally different between how the different arts are interacting in an age of super high tech than there was at times of lower tech?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one thing that I've observed over the years is that artists are now having a kind of expanded sense of self, of what they do and who they are. For example, if you're working with media, and at some point or another, there will be a file on a computer that you're working with. And the processes of working with that content are similar in different art forms, whether you're crossfading or adding effects or processing and using different controllers to manipulate sounds and images. And so we find that, actors may suddenly want to explore the use of their body as a kind of choreographer or dancer in ways that they had not been able to. Or we may find that somebody who's a choral conductor now can use his hands in the same sorts of gesture but control projection design and shape the way sound appears in a room. And in AR and VR experiences, of course, that really adds a whole nother layer to it as well. So more than anything, I think it's kind of this expanding definition of what artists do and the desire to collaborate with other creative people in different disciplines. Thanks for that question. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, then have a wonderful weekend. Oh, yes, sir. Yep. I don't play the flute, actually, but it does work, and I'd be embarrassed to try it. But it's not that different than a Irish penny whistle or a Japanese shakuhachi or Indian wooden flute. In fact, this was found in a cave only about 200 miles from where Bach was born, and he had written music for the transverse and regular wooden flute that's not all that different from this instrument. So, it's really pretty inspiring and quite remarkable to think of the fact that there's these 43,000-year-old connections that still mean something to us. But I think there was somebody else that I saw have their hand here. No? Yes. Well, there's a few areas that I think are really interesting challenges. Number one is the artistic sensibility in terms of touch and sound and sight and so on and so forth are so highly refined. And I think that artists bring a lot to any kind of experience and where interaction is involved. And there's also a kind of knowing, a kind of intelligence that you have, kinesthetic knowledge and other intrapersonal, other kinds of experiences that are artists develop over years and are quite sensitized to, that I think they would add a lot to other kinds of creative opportunities with technology and sensors. But also for technologists and coders and whatnot to be able to understand some of the power that's proven for tens of thousands of years and what will likely be ongoing importance of using these communicative skills and applying some of that into other kinds of work with technology, even if it's educational or different kinds of learning tools. So I think a brainstorming on how different talents could work together, both pushing in both directions, would be, of great value. Yes, sir.
Based on the theme of co-creation, do you have any examples, or would you be willing to talk a little bit more about pieces where the audience was brought into the process of creating a performance?
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. And it's something that theater people have spoken about for hundreds of years, which is the idea of breaking down that fourth wall. And so, we tend to keep building out this way. But as soon as you cross that wall, you do have a very, very different kind of experience. Some of it is just preconceived ideas that audience members have of what they want from an evening. like often you kind of want to be there in the shadows and not to be called on. You'd like to just observe. But artists are increasingly asking audience members to contribute. I have one of my students here with us today that did a piece. Sato, was it last year or 2 years? Last year. That's right, it was this past spring. And it was a wonderful performance work that involved live music and pre-recorded music and live movement and pre-recorded images and dance. But the first part of the piece began as a kind of gallery experience. So the audience walked in and there was interaction with the images. So, the immediate connection was a kind of interactive installation or gallery that then the audience moved into the traditional proscenium environment, stepped back, and then performances began. So, but it's an area that's really worth exploring. And if you can bring performances now into site-specific locations with AR, then I think, obviously that opens up a lot of possibility. And then there are other immersive and site-specific projects like Sleep No More in Manhattan, which is a great warehouse that's been converted into a 3-story kind of like haunted house environment where you walk through the place and there are actors and performers and rooms are designed and set in a beautiful kind of almost 18th century quality, and the narrative of the piece sort of unfolds as you walk through the house. So yeah, there's a lot of that that's unfolding, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that further if you'd like. Yep, okay. Well, thank you all very much, and look forward to seeing you around this weekend. Bye-bye.
Ed, thank you so much for the special introduction to the breathtaking and innovative work at Juilliard. I hope everyone will find a moment to go say hello and introduce themselves. Now we're going to get into something very special. Stay in this room to be a part of the hackathon pitches. At 10:30, we have the Google Cloud Tech Talk taking place next door in the lecture hall. Also, in the spirit of co-creation and hacking, I encourage everyone to go step by at the registration desk and get a little yellow tag that outlines their skills. So go help the hackers and be a part of this process. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Max Harper, and I will be introducing myself. I get to be... Okay. It's all right. I was brought here to be the MC, partly because I'm the person that the directors know can wing it, who can be a bit of a clown on stage. And so I'm going to be the court jester and kind of spirit guide for you throughout the hackathon. Is our presentation prepared? Is it up? Pulling it up right now. Awesome. And do I get the magic clicker? Yes. Do I get the magic flute also? What did we learn about the clicker? Which is the... This is confusing. Nice. And then red is back. I'm going to... Oh. Is this... Oh, we don't have the... I had a fun photo of me in 2016. All right, well, we'll begin from right here. So hi, I'm Max Harper, and I attended Hacking Arts in 2015. My mind was blown. I came back in 2016. I had the awesome fortune of having a really a spectacular partner, and we were really fortunate to win the hackathon in 2016. I said I was really interested in volunteering for the following year. The director said, how about co-directing it? I said, okay, and I'll do that. So I was one of the co-directors last year, and now I'm brought to be the court jester MC for you guys today. Hacking arts is awesome, and it's been a really exciting part of my life, and what it means to me is this amazing space and time, not just the actual space. Here we are in the Media Lab, an incredible place for innovating in media and technology and arts and science. But this broader sense, this general sense of this space, this time, these 2 days, and these people that are gathered here, it's an amazing moment where we get to be like the prehistoric humans and reach into the future of possibilities and pull out those flutes, the flutes of our time that are those artistic, imaginative, items that are not just the mundane everything, but those inspiring things that are only captured by art. So there's your motto, there's your tagline. You've seen it everywhere. The theme this year, we're celebrating co-creation, the collaborative imagination, the collective intelligence, and what is technology doing to kind of blur those lines, dissolve the lines of performer and audience, of artist and other artists, collaborators, art and technology. We're working with artificial intelligence. Is it a tool? Is it a collaborator? Is it a muse? So the future of co-creation. So these are the people that will be supporting you. Dana, raise your hand, stand up. You're going to want to remember Dana, and you're going to want to be super nice to Dana. She's done a tremendous job putting this all together. Let's give her a round of applause. And Savannah as well. So Dana, you'll want to be able to find, she'll be out at the tables at any point, the black tables that you registered at, and she's going to be supporting you kind of logistically, giving you updates, posting things on Slack, making sure that you guys, making sure that the space, this creative space is moving along smoothly. So look for Dana, communicate with Dana. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the photo of me looking like a tech nerd, and that's my awesome partner, Matt. This was in 2016. We combined the augmented reality headset, the HoloLens, with a musical idea, and it was to three-dimensionally map pitches. So we had 3 pitch shifters, one for X, one for Y, and one for Z, and we called it harmony space, which meant that any position in physical space had 3 notes correlated with it, which meant that major and minor chords ran along 3-dimensional lines, and you could listen to them. And that's one of those little Bose mini speakers, and Bose is here today. They're going to be offering you one of those challenges. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to play with, and hopefully you guys are going to come away from the weekend with some ridiculous techie photo for your portfolio. This is not possible without the sponsors. They mentioned to you in the prior talks. Some of those that are up there, we're going to be seeing the challenges that they're offering you and some of the hardware and the APIs and some of the software technologies that you can interact with. And they've offered also the prizes. So if you see any of these folks, make a point to go find them, learn about what they're offering, thank them, give them a huge hug, give them shout outs on social media, make them feel how thankful we are for their support. Here we are. Who can hear that? That low rumbling, that sort of crackling sound of everyone's imaginations, that collective imagination trying to cross from the synapses to one another. That is the sound of hacking arts. Who are we? So we have 200 hackers here today. You said the schools. Let's give yourselves another round of applause. You've come a long way. I think this is, what is this? This is about over 30 schools. This is awesome. This is a really great opportunity to meet people across places that may become friends and collaborators for a long time into the future. This is all of these. I love these demographic slides. It's super cool. You've got people that are in kind of school, a large percentage of them, about 75%, and there's some professionals, meaning people that took a Saturday off of their busy jobs to come out and hang with the academic types. So those people also have a lot of, insight into what's working and what's not maybe out in the world. So get excited to, meet each other here. Also, this is not the typical breakdown of your of hackathons. This, I believe, is how it should be, and it's one of the reasons it's such an honor and so inspiring to be a part of Hacking Arts. Is diversity is like forefront. Innovation through diversity. It's about gathering many different minds, many different ideas, many different backgrounds, and getting a broad representation of that imaginative substance. So it's very cool to see. Even cooler is all of this. One of my favorites is, how do I laser point? Oh, cool. You've got a lot of people in the humanities, media, arts, and science. You've got folks that range from media, arts, and science. You've got people in the electronic engineering and computer science. You've got people kind of in management, management and like entrepreneurship. So you've got a really cool mixture of folks. They say hacking arts isn't necessarily brain science or rocket science, but just in case it is today, there's some people that you can maybe look for. All right, the schedule you'll want to pay attention to. Obviously, you have this as well online, and there's a variety of ways to find this everywhere. Your QR codes, I believe, can get you here. What we're going to be doing is pretty soon moving into the pitches, and I'm going to be telling you how to do that, where you're going to be inspiring some collaborators to join you on a hack that you'll work on for the rest of the day. The rest of the weekend. Then we move into team formation, where your goal is to identify the collaborators you want to work with. Once that's happened, you have an opportunity to go and work with the mentors, meet the mentors, and see if there's mentors that are going to be able to help you specifically with your idea or your technologies. Then we move on to lunch, and then hacking begins. You want to also pay attention to this afternoon. We've got some awesome teams and companies that are delivering workshops where you can get hands-on experience, or you'll have a chance to, if you're doing a hack that might involve them, go a little bit deeper with them and figure out how you're going to integrate. Beyond that, you have a variety of supported mentor rounds here throughout the day, and we'll move on to looking at Sunday. Join us here for breakfast with Clover. I don't know what hacking resumes is, but I'm sure it's awesome. I feel like I have to hack my resume sometimes. The final mentor round, this is your last kind of chance to get some final feedback. What they'll probably be doing is prepping you to give the presentation you'll be giving to judges. Then you have lunch, and then it's final presentation time. One thing to know is that as you kind of close and you get into this time period right around lunch and getting ready to do the final presentations, you're pretty much starting to move into how do I externally communicate what I've made. You're going to imagine that your thing is it's going to be a prototype. Everything's going to just be sort of a demonstration, but you're going to need to start polishing it up and getting ready to talk about it and presenting it. And so just energetically expect that kind of transition to happen right around here. And you might also be wanting to start to think about that as you overnight as you go into Sunday. That is if you sleep and obey the diurnal rhythms. Then final presentations are happening to judges. There's 2 rounds, and we're going to talk about those really quickly. Then we do the scoring, and then the final presentations kick off at 4:30. Highly recommend for anybody that says, oh, I didn't participate in the hackathon, come back for this. This is really fun. It's fun to be here all the way through this time period. You see stuff scattered all over the floor, all these teams sort of washing up on the beach trying to pull things together, and it's super inspiring. And a lot of people kind of pull up from their projects and start like intermingling with the other teams and start collaborating and kicking off really cool ideas, and that's some of the most inspiring stuff that's here. Then we do the final presentations, and this is really cool, the signature hack that'll be going on. I don't have in-depth information about that, but you'll be informed more about what that is, and that's a particular professional artist who's going to work in the spirit of the theme, working on a very kind of like curated hack. And then we do the ceremony. Okay. The challenge statements. So we like to give out challenges that can kind of give what I like to call enabling constraints. These are the things that you might speak to, that your creations might solve these challenges. So we're going to go through these. Oh, actually, no. This is the slide that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got them all here. The future of artistic creativity, audience experience, instrument, community, and ecosystem. So we'll do them one at a time here. So the future of artistic creativity. This is about. Oops. This is about the way that we're sparking ideas or facilitating the creative process. What is it that? What kind of interventions? What's the new future possible for enhancing creativity or collective creativity? Yeah. So if you kind of combine the general theme with one of these challenges, things might be sparking. So the future of the audience experience. So you've probably seen some things over the past couple of years that you've said, whoa, that's different. Like these networked LED like wristbands that glow in patterns that the artist had already designed, or crowdsourcing video or crowdsourcing ideas. What are some of the future possible ideas for enhancing or changing the audience experience? Is it immersive? Anyway, so moving on. So Velodyne LiDAR, this is a three-dimensional imaging technology. The art instrument. So how might we be changing the way that instruments are made, or those types of instruments that might inspire new art forms? Is there a new instrument that we have yet to discover, and possibly a new artistic medium? So what is the future of the art instrument? Art community. So what does it mean? There's a lot of people who don't necessarily identify with art, or they don't think of themselves as artists or art appreciators, but you can imagine that pretty much everyone nods their head to music on the radio or something. But what does it mean to broaden and make more accessible the idea of becoming an artist, or becoming an art appreciator, or an art patron? How do we grow the sense of identity, or the sense of bound, or blur the boundary on the idea of being an artist or in the art community? So that's that question. The art ecosystem, and this is kind of largely around the business side of things. So how do we get more energy, blood, excitement into the ecosystem? Money. How do we get more, whether it's systems like blockchain and digital rights management that can enable new types of economic, transactions around art, or crowdfunding art? What possibilities do we have with some technologies at our fingertips to enhance the future of the art ecosystem? This is a very unique challenge, and I'm going to bring up Glenn from Bose to introduce this. Welcome, Glenn.
Sorry, just a quick shout out. If anybody signed up for the Media Lab tour, they're about to leave right now. So this is the first round. It's going to take about an hour. So if you want to stay for the challenge and hackathon details, please stay, and then you can sign up for the Media Lab tour later. I'm not sure, but if you're participating in the hackathon,
Okay, thank you, Max. So I'm Glenn. I'm with Bose. I have a couple of colleagues over there as well, Santiago and NB. So I actually want to introduce to you a design challenge. It's actually, just to be clear, not actually part of something that's happening this weekend, but something that's very related, using technology and arts. That's actually kick off on October 22nd, and I'll show you how to sign up. And it's actually a 2-week project. It's not just a 1-weekend project, so you can get a little deeper into it. But let me introduce to you what the idea is. So many of you are probably aware of augmented reality, and usually when you think about augmented reality, it's about what you see. It's overlaying visuals over where you would be looking. Well, at Bose, we've been thinking about what about the role of audio related to augmented reality. And specifically, we imagine a world where you can see everything around you unoccluded. You see everything unadulterated. But actually, what is enhancing your experience is what you can hear. So imagine a world where everything you see is more valuable, more emotional, more meaningful based on what you hear added to your world. And so what we did is we introduced a concept that we're calling Bose AR, which is an audio augmented reality platform. And this is an idea where you hear everything you hear normally. It doesn't interrupt your normal hearing, but actually we can engage the real digital world and enhance your experience with audio. And how we would do that actually is a pair of what we think are the best sounding headphones that don't ever look like headphones, a normal pair of sunglasses. If you put them on, you can hear audio. There's little speakers built into the sides, but you can also engage with other people. You can engage with the real world, and it doesn't interrupt your hearing. Now, what we're doing, and we introduced this back in March at South by Southwest, and it really captured people's imaginations. But it's something that we really need to engage with the rest of the world to do. We're a hardware company, principally. We built the software platform for it, but the ultimate experiences creatively really comes from folks like you, which is why we have these design challenges. We have one here at MIT, like I said, on the 22nd, but we're also doing them on the West Coast and in Pittsburgh as well, to engage with the wider community in inventing experiences for this new audio augmented reality. So a little bit more detail on it. So we have in these glasses, and we also have them built into headphones and other devices, are a series of sensors and out loud audio. But also, again, using an SDK, you can engage in the experiences, and that's what we would give you access to. So the challenge specifically is imagine a audio augmented reality experience that enhances people's lives. And again, on 22nd, we'll give a little bit more detail about this, and then you'll have 2 weeks to work on it with a team, and then there'll be awards. The tools that you'll have, we have plugins. If you're more technically inclined, we have a Unity plugin and an SDK that engages the sensors. We also have an audio pin creation tool that gives you a geospatial location ability to kind of drop audio pins depending on where you are and what direction you're looking, what you're doing. You can actually create a whole tour, or you can create individual little dropping pins that expire over time, things like that. And there's 2 products that you get to hack with. One is our noise-canceling headphones, and the other is what we call Soundwear, which is a neck-worn speaker. These, not quite available yet in the market. These are going to be launching later this year, but the exciting part is that these will be your prizes. So if you win, you do get a set of these, and you'll get to present to the Bose some key executives. Bose is based in just outside Boston, so especially for those of you who are local, very easy to get to. So if you're interested, please sign up at realindustry.org/Bose Challenge at MIT. And the kickoff is on October 22nd. So we look forward to working with you. Thank you. Max, back to you. Thank you. Can I ask one more thing? We actually have a couple of these. My colleagues and I will be outside to answer any questions, and we can also give you some quick demos.
Awesome. Let's see. Yes, more emotional. Yes, yes, yes. The prizes. So we're going to go through the prizes for winning. We're going to start with the one at the bottom because I have to emphasize this. Countless memories, friendships, and good vibes. That's what we're here for first and foremost, okay? Keep it in mind. Honestly, yeah, I've been here twice. One time I kind of had a my first time was a really weird experience, but I made some awesome friends and I learned a lot. I didn't know what to ask for. I didn't speak technology too well. I didn't know whether I needed JavaScript or what an SDK was. But I asked people and I tried to learn. So I found, I used it as an experience to kind of learn and grow. So we got first prize. Second prize, these are kind of, general. The hacker's choice, that's you guys choosing amongst yourself who you think is what project is interesting. And then the sponsorship prizes are specific to the sponsors. And we're going to go through them now. The best all-around hack, the first place gets $2,500 and is sponsored by the MIT Sloan E&I Club. Is that entrepreneurship and innovation? Awesome. The second place is $1,000, and then Hacker's Choice is $500. these are sponsor-specific awards. The Wayfair Prize goes to they get to choose, and to be eligible for this, the teams need to use Wayfair's 3D model API in their project. I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure that that's their 3D. It's the way you can access the 3D models of their furniture and products, their catalog. Yeah. The first place you get an Oculus headset for each team member in the winning team. I think the limit is 5. Don't quote me on that. Check with Dana. Then second place gets a $250 donation to a charity organization of the attacker's choice for each team member, up to 6 team members. That's awesome. So go after the Wayfair challenge and figure out the charity that you want to donate to. So the Google Cloud Prize, if to be eligible for this, you're going to need to use the Google Cloud platform in your project, and the winning team gets 4 Google Home Minis. And all the sponsors as well will be discoverable, either have Dana point you to them, or they will be outside. They'll have a station and make themselves very available, so you can interact with them and understand how to go deeper with their technology. And they're also having workshops, just as a reminder. Fritz AI. This is to be eligible for this prize. You're going to need to use Fritz AI in your project. It's a platform for doing machine learning, for simplifying machine learning processes. And the first team gets some premium services from them, valued at $5,000. And they're also doing grants of $1,000 each to teams, looks like secondary, kind of a second place type of thing. Thank you, Fritz. And so the judging criteria. This is kind of the rubric that the judges will look at when you present on Sunday. They will ask themselves, what's the overall quality of the idea and delivery? How is it? What level of creativity is it? What's the use of the arts? And 3, technical maturity. This means, did you advance it along? Maybe did you get a prototype? Is it more than just a PowerPoint? Is there some little demonstration of something? And so this will encourage you to maybe find a way to get yourself a way to deliver a prototype, or at minimum kind of spell out what the technical needs are. And so the more demonstratable you are kind of on the technical side, as people will, that's what technical maturity means. The impact on business, or the business viability, the way that I think about this is impact is how much impact can this make in the world? Like how much of an intervention might this be? What might this change? And business viability means how would this also potentially make a lot of money or be a very scalable business venture? And then link to the rest of the festival means, is it coherent with the zeitgeist of the festival? Is it speaking to the themes? Is it speaking to the overall theme? And potentially, does it engage one of the performers? I actually worked with one of the performers in 2016, and I think while that wasn't a criteria, it's pretty cool. People are like, oh, they grabbed that performer, and that performer danced and used their thing, and so that, seeing how collaborative you can be, I think that's what that's trying to honor right there. So the processes and logistics, there's going to be plenty more information on this. I'll just give you the highlight on this. You have mentor rounds starting today. This is like feedback only, right? You're not getting judged here. We call it the Tim Gunn round, for those of you who know what that means. I think my pointer, there we go. So it's Sunday at 3, the finalists and sponsored prize winner selection. I'm curious, this doesn't seem, what am I missing here? I'm missing the first round of judging, am I not? Dana?
So the round 1 is to select the finalists. We'll also have a separate table judging station for each of the sponsored prize. So you're competing for both so all the teams are invited to compete for the overall prize, and on top of that, you're using one of the hardware or their APIs
Awesome. Yeah, so at 3 o'clock, you'll basically be queuing up to deliver a presentation of 3 minutes at a table for the overall, and for in addition, you'll go to a sponsor-specific table. And then the final presentations for those who have advanced, those will happen on stage at 4:30. MPR stands for multi-purpose room. That's the room we're in right now. And there's plenty of people to ask, more questions about the timing. Code of conduct. So, ooh, look at that. Boom, Slack. Some logistics here. The code of conduct. It's on the website. You must adhere to it. There's a handful of things that are in there. I believe one of them is that you remain inclusive and respectful in the spirit of not just co-creation, but being a decent human and a lovely person to be around. The other one being don't cheat. Cheat basically meaning we're trying to invent new things here and not kind of finish old projects. And last year we actually had to disqualify one project because they'd been working on it at several hackathons but prior. And yeah, we just want to kind of celebrate the ideas that get formulated here and ensure that happens. And so we ask that you follow that. The hardware checkout will be at a table on the far end of that other room. And there'll be a variety of hardware, including VR headsets, the sponsor stuff, and a variety of other hacking bits and pieces. So you'll want to check that out. Mentor assistance requests. Dana, do you mind? Yeah, do not be shy. Do not be shy for looking for mentors. Throw it up on Slack. Say, does anybody know this thing or that thing? Do not be shy. And honestly, mentor each other. Honestly, really teach each other. You saw how many different disciplines there were. There's a lot of different languages being spoken in terms of technical discipline. Teach each other. Take this opportunity to teach one another. And if somebody's looking for a mentor and you're on another team and you know how to do it, maybe help them out. That's an awesome spirit of co-creation. And then final hack submission, you're going to be submitting on a platform called DevPost. How many people are familiar with that? Maybe you've hacked before. A few hands. It's really simple. It's kind of like you build a little profile page, and that'll be coming around over Slack in the next 24 hours. And that's really important that you fill that out, largely because that is the final representation of your project. When you leave these doors and your partners and you separate, that is the place you can point potentially even employers to. I know plenty of people that have used dev posts in their employment applications. Okay. So, yes, one more thing. Okay, so it's time to pitch. And what that means is that we are going to line up. We're going to write the name of our idea or team. You want to line up on this side? Okay. Okay, so I'll repeat that. So the way that's going to work is you're going to line up over on this side, and the line will need to kind of arc back. You're going to go over there. You're going to line up there, and you're going to write the name of your idea. It doesn't have to be your final name. It's the way that people can remember your idea and find you afterwards and go, oh, I want to go with Doohickey. I want to be on Team Doohickey, and then you're going to walk around and look for the person with the Doohickey sign. Cool. So you're going to line up over there. And then you're going to write your name. Then you're going to come on up when it's your turn. You have 45 seconds. We will be enforcing 45 seconds just so we can move through. And you're going to record then your pitch description and team name over here. Is it Savannah? with Savannah, and that's sort of to register what you're going to work on. And then once your team is formed, you need to register your team via the survey on Slack. It's a form that you fill out. So you need to register kind of here and then on Slack. So in your pitch, you need to give your name and the project name. What's the inspiration and idea behind it? A bit about your background and skills, and then the ideal skills and collaborators you need. And really make sure that you try to do that. If there's any time left and you've missed one of these, we'll try to ask you to do it. This is key that you figure out, what you're missing and who you need, so that those people can self-identify. And that's the end of the slideshow. So, are there any questions before we begin queuing up? Oh, there's one. If you don't have an idea, don't worry. There's a team absolutely any number of teams you'll probably be able to add value to. And at the absolute minimum, you will be able to have a lot of fun throughout the rest of the festival, engaging in any number of other things. How many people are excited? How many people are shy and timid and a little nervous? Yes. That's great. That's perfect. Don't worry. For everyone, you're in a group of friends. You're here with family. Everyone's going to take care of one another, and it's going to be a ton of fun, okay? All right. So who wants to begin lining up? This is usually what it'd be awesome if there were music. Even if you have like the germ of an idea, like and you're just a little bit nervous about it, feel free to it doesn't matter. Even if you come up here and pitch something, you don't have to even do it if it doesn't work out. You can run your silly idea, just have a conversation with somebody, go to lunch, come back and be like, well, that was a cool conversation, and it doesn't matter. And you can even formulate a team kind of after, on the fly, even later, but. Just about, let's let, people at least begin assembling a bit more. Is that one on?
I'm not. Yeah, I think it's on. So I'll be. Is this?
I think so. Check.
Okay. So I'll be holding up the time warnings. So I'll be showing you 15 seconds and then 5 seconds left. I'll be right here.
Ooh, nice little pause. Okay. Let's give our first pitcher a warm round of applause. Come on up. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm in comparative media studies. My project name is Museum Accessibility. I'm inspired by a lot of work I've seen in Chicago to really expand the accessibility of museums by coming up with new ways to interact with art that don't assume a specific set of sensory inputs. And so I want to be able to use the resources at MIT here to go beyond touch tours and come up with something that's even more exciting than being able to touch artwork. So that's a pretty high bar. And I'm looking for people, I think, who might have experience in any hardware or production side that you think would be helpful. Scanning, 3D printing, yeah.
Awesome. Museum accessibility. Awesome. Come on up.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Hannes, and the project name is Your Own Heaven or Hell. It's about personalizing screen and audio experiences, so using machine learning and biofeedback to learn about each user's what kind of screens, what kind of visuals and audio would ramp up the heart rate or breathing patterns or calm down. And so my background is more in the arts. I've created multiple VR and AR biofeedback projects. And this project's, there's open sourced code about how to use digital cameras to detect heart rate or breathing patterns. So it would need maybe somebody working with machine learning, somebody working with hardware, a visual artist, an audio artist, and yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye.
Awesome.
Hey everyone, I'm Jairo. I'm part of the Integrated Design and Management program. My idea is about traveling to space, and it's sort of a reminder of wheel traveling as right now. So it's creating an experience that will put us in the middle of, or center of the Earth, and we can travel through and continue travel through space. So for this, we'll need like different equipment and different triggers that will sort of expand our perception, how we feel is traveling in space. I'll be around here. Cheers.
Awesome.
Hi everybody, my name is Steffen. I'm an electrical engineer turned MBA student, and my idea is crop circle. The inspiration is basically if you sit in a plane and you fly over the Midwest, you often see those beautiful works of arts where people walk through crop fields, and I would like to actually put that experience, visualize it, and have your smartphone be sort of your pen and use the GPS tool in your smartphone to draw stuff in cities that you can later see either from a plane or on your smartphone on Google Maps. Yeah, I'm looking for fellow software engineers. Also, if you have an Android phone, that'd be great because I only have an iPhone and usually those prototypes work way better on Android. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Gasper, so I'll be pitching my no idea. What I'm passionate about is trying to figure out how to couple things that don't usually go together in a new context. So for example, using body to generate music or interactive virtual reality experiences that have the potential to create art or to change people's lives. So along those lines, my background is in interaction design, and I have also a master in cognitive systems and interactive media. I'd like to partner with fellow designers, musicians, artists, and coders. So try to find me somewhere, and maybe we can figure out a good idea. Thanks a lot.
Hello, my name is Libby. I'm a master's student in comparative media studies here, and I study educational games and social movements. And I'm really inspired by the ways that people use art and media to co-create the way we talk about important issues. And I'm also inspired by games like Ingress, or if you're more familiar with it, Pokemon Go, and how they get people out into the world interacting. And I'd love to create some sort of augmented reality game that encourages people to create arts-based activism. Looking for people interested in AR, game design, would love to prototype something that we could actually test at the festival tomorrow, and in a perfect world, hopefully roll out at a larger scale leading up to the 2020 election to get people using art for social movement. So come talk to me.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Hi, my name is David, and I'd like to enable movement as query. So a lot of people are able to or think about doing Google searches or any kind of search, internet search using text. And I would like to enable to do a search with movement. As a dancer and as a mover, I'm very much interested in saying, oh, I'd like to know, what this move is. And then the technology would then tell me, oh, that's a shimmy. It's commonly, used in these kinds of dances with the earliest recorded, Alan Lomax film in the chord collection back in the 50s or something, something like that. Because I think that that's really the next level of search queries. So if anybody's interested on trying to hack together a prototype for that, it's movement as query. Thank you.
Love it.
Hi, I'm Annette. I'm a producer in the design industry in New York City. My project name is Knit, and it's a collaboration platform where you can that has a two-part experience. The first part is where you can upload projects that you've done, and people can start liking or not liking it based on category, subject, or skill set. And the second part is a creative Rolodex of these contacts who are makers behind the projects you've liked in the past, so that it can function as a tool for you to curate teams if you have a project in mind or if you want to work on a project together. So hit me up if you are a software engineer, designer, or anyone that comes from a creative discipline that might have some kind of user feedback or ideas about this collaboration space. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Kate. My idea is Sketchbank. It's an idea I've had for a while, but basically I'm dissatisfied with the way neural transfer or neural style transfer looks at the moment, where it analyzes the image as a whole as pixels, and I'd like to do more of a stroke-based style transfer. So basically something that would look at your order and placement of strokes in a sketch or drawing and copy that style. I haven't really developed the idea very far, but there's a lot of directions it could go, either for use as a teaching tool, how to sketch a picture that you've taken, or as a bank where people can keep their own personal style of drawings online. And basically I need people who know AI and maybe the Wacom SDK. Thank you.
Awesome. Sweet.
I am Stephanie McConnell, and my idea is for a video game fixer space. So I think that people should be able to fix the stuff in their house, fix their instruments, fix their car, and they should be able to learn how to do it without having to go to a physical space. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for collaboration in this kind of an idea. There are a lot of applications for art in this kind of idea, but I come from a purely business background. I had a startup in a past life. I'm an MBA at MIT Sloan, so the pretty traditional non-technical founder looking for a technical co-founder. So if you have video game design experience, video game engineering, or if you come from a really creative background or could think of some really cool ways to apply this creatively, I would love to talk to you.
Awesome.
Hey everyone, my name's Eric. I'm also an MBA student at Sloan. My mom's a cancer survivor, and it's great that she won that battle, but it's still really difficult. And so one of the ways she deals with having had cancer is through art and going to festivals and collaborating and meeting people. And so I want to create, my name is, I just came up with it, so Collaborative Cancer Art. And so it's creating an app or a platform for cancer survivors to meet and express themselves through art. And so I'm an MBA, I don't have any technical background, so looking for designers, artists, and programmers.
Hi, my name's Justin. After seeing some of the stuff up there right now, I wonder if I could get some hardware and some programmers together to help create some sort of computer brain interface type technology, which would allow someone to actually create art by thinking about it. So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. Is that fit?
I think that does.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Annie and my idea is Historical Muse. I want to increase museum engagement, especially in like digital ways or especially for like artifacts that are like too fragile for us to touch. So I'm hoping to get some people who are interested in VR or leap motion, so we could like create something where you can like simulate the historical context and you can like actually handle historical artifacts. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey everyone, my name's Romain. So my idea is called musical chairs or like room DJ. So trying to map like different sounds or songs to different places in a room. And then having people be able to touch a place multiple times to decide what plays next. I did mechanical electrical engineering, and looking for anybody that's interested in like music or that kind of idea. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Hello, my name is Yulia, and I'm a cancer biologist who is very interested in arts. My idea is creating a platform for where scientists and artists could collaborate. A century ago, people who were interested in constructions meet with people who were interested in arts, and this created what we know now as a design. So I wonder, what if we merge biology or life sciences and art? Would we know more about how creativity works, and would we be able to use it in education and communication? Thanks.
Awesome. Good luck.
Hi guys, my name is Francisco Rafarta. I have a background in web development and music technology. I have an idea of connecting performers, whether it's visual arts or music, to the audience through a system that allows the performer to get information from the audience and modify their performance accordingly. So anyone with experience with the controllers or web development or a performer would be great to do some kind of work like this. Thank you.
That's performer-audience merging.
Awesome. Good luck. Thanks.
Hey guys, my name's Kevin. I'm from IDM and I'm a designer. So the great thing about online education is that it allows people from anywhere in the world to learn about amazing subjects from great schools. But the issue is that it doesn't really help with people who want to learn art or the creative type of work. So my idea is to use AR to let people who are working on art projects to get mentorship from art masters. So say you're working on a painting, and then you can just put on your AR goggles, and then a mentor can help guide you through the painting, give you suggestions, and also give you audio feedback. So that's my idea. Thank you.
Awesome. My mentor.
Good luck.
Hi, my name is Sato Matsui, and I'm a composer and doctoral student at the Juilliard School. And I just had this idea about 5 minutes ago, so bear with me. But I was thinking of the prompt of making music, the music-making process much more accessible, integrating, and communal. So I'm wondering if anyone has experienced drum circles before. It's a really wonderful experience because you can do it at all different levels. You can beat something as basic as just this, or you can do different levels of it. So my idea is to create WeDrum, and by using VR and AR, create a virtual space where people can tune in globally and drum together. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm an undergrad at Tufts, and I'm a visual artist. And I'm looking to make an app. I have no technical skills, so I'm looking for some tech peeps to help make like a AR or VR app that is called Publica. And it basically is supposed to help encourage public art. So there would be spots around different cities, and people can put on VR headsets and draw anything they want and then put it in a specific place. And anyone who accesses the app can look at everyone's public art. So anyone can make art and appreciate it because art is awesome. Thanks.
Publica.
Good luck.
Hi, my name is Dominic. I'm an architecture exchange student here in MIT, and my idea is not related to my field, but I think it's very simple. So essentially, it's called the LinkedIn handshake. So I was imagining that if you handshake with anyone in this room, you might just exchange LinkedIn contacts automatically. So in a way, it makes co-collaboration more seamless, and yeah, and it's just simple. You just handshake, you change contacts, and that's it.
Awesome.
And I might be like probably hardware people, but anyone who's interested in like the idea in general.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Who's got some scary idea that they're too nervous to do? I'm urging that you overcome the fear and step right up. And remember, you won't be held to actually doing it. So even if you just want to like have a cool conversation with somebody about how it might get created, now's your opportunity. So welcoming kind of final people to come on up. And we've got the last few to go. Getting exciting. Awesome. Go ahead.
Hello, my name's AJ. The name of my project is Art and Music Revolution. It's for independent artists and musicians, creating a one-stop shop for them to collaborate locally with each other and also give them avenues to profit in a number of ways. I see collaboration being, the inspiration behind this event, and like co-creation leads to, there's different forms of collaboration. I'm defining it as collab create and collab trade. You can trade your skills and barter, or you can collab together to create a third entity that neither one of you could have made alone. So looking for anyone who's looking to change the independent artist market. Thank you.
Cool. Good luck.
Okay, hello. My name is Sofia Garcia. I am a front-end developer at JP Morgan, and I have a background in art history. I don't have a fully fledged idea, but I do want to explore what the art world is going to look like once art becomes a tokenized asset, and basically what that's going to mean for artists, galleries, museums, and everyone involved, and kind of figure out how we can make sure artists have control of their art as it continues to, go through the market. And, something along those lines. Not fully fledged, but I want to ideate with people, so open to anything. Cool, thank you.
Awesome. Good luck. Yeah, maybe the artists put shredders in their paintings.
Hi, I'm Ray. My idea is kind of inspired by Luxo Jr., which is like the Pixar lamp. So the idea is like a VR environment that is a typical home, but the furniture responds to you, not in just like functional ways, but with like interaction and with character. And so I'm interested in the way that we can transform like mundane objects that we see in our everyday lives and think about how they influence our lives as characters. Oh, and I'm looking for, I'm a software engineer and an animator, so I'm kind of just looking for people who can program interactions and just ideate and care about it, I guess.
Nice, awesome. Good luck.
Hi, my name is Mahika. I'm a computer science student, but currently interning as a software engineer. And my idea is called Share, with the AR capitalized, trying to play on words in the last 5 minutes. But I wanted to, when I first thought of the theme of co-creation, I thought of something like YouTube, where people upload videos and meet collaborators, and that sort of started out at the golden era a few years back. But I thought, what if people could upload like VR content of, like wear motion capture suits, but upload that content, and then people can download it and experience those motions in VR, and then maybe set up some sort of model where educators could upload it, and then people can download it and learn it, and some sort of database you can have for it. So just open to ideas about that, and I thought it would be really cool to share AR and VR, not just text and video and images, but something more 3D. So I'm open to ideas, and come meet me. I'm called Share. Sorry.
Awesome. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm an undergrad here at MIT, and I'm pitching something called Soundspace. So basically, I saw that there's like LiDAR hardware available, which is super cool. That's the stuff they use in self-driving cars that tells you like, oh, what is the surrounding area? And I think that would be cool to use that to map like physical space to sort of, sound space. So you could imagine maybe you have like various objects, you move them around, and that affects the sounds that are playing. Like there's some cube that's a sustained note, move it around, affects pitch, volume, and so on. And of course, multiple people can mess with the space at the same time because they're in the space and can manipulate it. So I am an EDCS student, so I'm looking for other technical people, or also just anyone who cares about this. Yeah, so hit me up. I think it'll be neat.
Awesome. Good luck.
Oh, okay, this needs to go down. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. I'm a software engineer, and what I work on primarily is sentiment analysis, so measuring emotion with words and how we communicate. But my idea is how we can interact with the audience, specifically with measuring breath. And so maybe if like an audience wants to give feedback, they could like breathe stronger when they see a performance. So I'm thinking about different ways of like how we could interact with that, maybe like pulsating breaths, I don't know. But working title is called Breathe On Me, if anyone wants to work on that.
Awesome. Yeah. Good luck.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm an undergrad at Brown studying human-centered design. My project is called Chimeragen. That name is flexible. Basically, what I want to do is try and take kind of biological forms, either on a macro level, like kind of like hips, things like that, or like cellular structures, and try and create a program that in 3D modeling or in a 3D space will kind of stitch those forms together and create like strange Guillermo del Toro-esque monster things. So if anyone's interested in like weird fantasy stuff and biomimicry and some of that, come check me out. I do 3D modeling and physical fabrication, so if anyone wants to come in on the CS side or the artistic side, let me know. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Brett. I'm a New York-based artist. Earlier this year, I launched this startup called Amazing Industries. It was sort of an idea that was spun out of my thinking about Amazon as a mega corporation that's sort of taking over so much. And what Amazing Industries does, it's an R&D startup that basically advocates for workers in the digital age. So I've been out talking to and interviewing truck drivers and cleaners who work for, say, Handy.com, bicycle riders in Amsterdam that work for Foodora or Deliveroo. And if you're passionate about supporting workers in the digital age and thinking about how tech is impacting them both in a positive way or in an asymmetrical way, come see me. I have an expo booth downstairs, and yeah, would love to collaborate with folks. Thanks.
Hi guys, my name is Bryant Jenkins. The name of my project is Music Garden. I am sort of reframing a lot of the ideas that I've already heard, but I would like to make it easier for people to express the music that's in their head already. I think everyone is creative in some way. So I have a background in digital audio, and I'm learning about interactive art, and I think there is room to apply that to this sort of project. I work primarily in the environment of Max MSP, if you're familiar, and I can hopefully integrate that with, you know, web software and other things. So I'm looking for anyone who can do that. Thank you. Awesome. Good luck.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ali Al-Girni. I'm from Parsons Design and Technology. I get inspired by politics and activism. I don't have an idea, but I'm here to tell anyone, like everyone, about myself. So if anyone is interested to work with me, I'm more than excited. My expertise is in sound design and video editing. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm a chemist, an artist, and a dancer. And I have basically, as a chemist, I work with materials, and I do research chemistry, and I'm currently working with black pigments that are in the glass field. So I would be interested in working on a collaborative interface where artists could come and talk to scientists and create a new material, so marked materials. So anyone who's interested in new materials and design and development.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Hello, my name is Iris. I'm one of the people who are coming from Canada. My idea has to revolve around the idea of our voices, and how not everyone is a musician or can play a musical instrument, but everybody has a voice, and we intend to use our phones as a texting tool a lot, but I want the kind of audio recognition capabilities of microphones and things in our surrounding environment to begin to kind of analyze that and think about the ways that our voices can be portrayed and our emotions through voices. So if anyone wants to do anything with audio feedback or just thinking about sentiment, emotions in audio spaces, I'm very interested in that, and I would love to collaborate.
Awesome. Good luck. All right. All right, so we're going to go back to the schedule slide, which I think is quite a ways back. And as we do this, team formation is what we're about to head into. Team formation, we're going to do that in the multi-purpose room or in, here we go.
Okay, guys. So now is the time for team formation. If you're interested in any of the ideas you've heard or just want to get to know other people and form your teams, now is the time, and you can do it in this space. The space outside is also open, so but we want to get most of the people here so you can talk to as many people as possible.
If you have a piece of paper, if you pitched, make sure you do sign up, and then you're going to want to kind of spread out and walk through the people and find a place for yourself.
And there's also Startup Expo happening at List Center. That's a building right next door. We also have performances going on in Bartels, which is also in the building next door. And we'll have Mentor Mixer at 11:30 in the lecture hall, right the room over. That's where you can meet and greet with the mentors.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hold your papers high and clear out some space. Move out. Advertise. Parade your idea around. Hang on to your collaborators. The team formation sign up is linked to inside of the Slack, and it's now open. So once you get your team, you can register it there. Yeah, feel free to push right in there, people. Somebody worked on this one last year.